So today we're going to be talking about transformation and like momentum, so Shawn, sheshn, Hashmatpour talks. Let's start with a topic of how to love without being needy. Love is an offer, not a request. So we keep the core identity strong, and we're present, not attached, not mentally projecting. We express our feelings, but don't over-expect or overcompensate, and we give space for the other person to miss us. We set standards versus seeking validation, like, do I like him? Does he like me? 6, we love from choice, not fear of abandonment or loss or loneliness. 7, we balance affection with challenge. 8, attraction thrives on tension. 9, trust the connection and yourself. A man loves powerfully when he gives freely from a place of wholeness, giving the woman his presence, not his dependence, and creates space for real healthy connection where a woman wants to be with him, not one where she feels pressured to stay. His natural magnetism comes from stepping into his masculine power. Shawn, sheshn, Hashmatpour also says that we can fall back in love with the process. So that's love, and then a process, so real uncomfortable action gives reality's feedback, which builds confidence. Believing in the self comes from having taken those actions, and the self-worth that unleashes authentic power. It's what we earn, and it's the charge. If we operate from the internal sense of not believing in limited scarcity. And Shawn, sheshn, Hashmatpour says, healthy bound behavior with coaches, right? So let's say not with partners, and let's say, working on the process. So never compromise values. Don't tolerate observed disrespect. And don't let the material world objects be the motivation. He also says that the state of attraction versus practical application. So the identity root causes, for example, fear, anxiety, self-doubt, can cause us to start to become curious. We can use compassion to allow, accept, and embrace. And then we create new beliefs, systems of beliefs, and implement in practice. We meet all with love and service. So it's totally like reorienting ourselves. Rather than being consumers, we become nurturers. And this is like the momentum that leads to transformation from consumerism. Talking about being a giver, nullified and sharing, we're going to talk about Moses. So on Chabad.org, Yehuda Altein goes into I don't know how to call it a biography, but Moses passed away 7th of Adar in 1273 BCE, which is the year 2488, as we learn from Megillah 13b. He was exactly 120 years old, as we learn from Rosh Hashana 11a. On the first of Shvat, Moshe gathered the Jews and took 5 weeks delivering his final will and reviewing the mitzvahs that were received from Mount Sinai and exhorting them to follow God's ways. This is the book of devarim, or Deuteronomy. He wrote on the day of his passing, they say in Devarim Rabba 9:9, 13 Torah scrolls, one for each tribe and one for the Ark of the Covenant. Some say he prepared them in advance and wrote the last verses at the end, and some say his quill had magical, Kabbalistic infusion, where it wrote along and he just had to hold it. He also blessed each tribe on his last day, and some say he died on Shabbos, but others say he couldn't have written on Shabbos, so Moshe completed the scrolls on Friday or passed away as well on the Friday. In Rosh Hashana 21b and likutei Torah citing Maggid of Mezritch for Bamidbar 21a, Moses mastered 49 of the 50 portals of understanding in his life. But on his last day, the 50th elusive portal was revealed to him. Additionally, no one knows his burial plot till today, except we learn that God took his soul with a kiss. Moshe was exposed to a lofty level of spiritual bliss, spurring his soul to leave his body and cleave to its divine source. He was full of strength and vigor, as vigorous as ever at age 120. Tradition says he climbed Mount Nebo in a single stride, displaying superhuman energy right until the very end. And some say God buried Moses laying his faithful servant to rest, and some say Moses buried himself. His body after death stayed whole and his appearance not dim, and his body moisture did not leave. Okay. Aubrey Marcus teaches us the masculine rises to meet the level of trust and devotion placed in it. When it's trusted to be protector and leader rather than predators, tyrants, they naturally align with the highest expression, or their own flaws are revealed, because when the false king or the Peter Pan emerges. So woman's trust in man is like water to a seed. When she sees him not as an enemy, but as a sacred protector and ally, she calls forth his highest nature. It's not about her giving power away, but creating such a magnetic polarity that both the male and female can dance in full expression. Trust is responsibility to do the inner work, facing one's shadow, choosing to be worthy each day of that sacredness, being strong enough to be soft and confident enough to be vulnerable. It's not about domination, force, or control. It's about presence, protection, holding space. And a great way to connect with your inner child, your unconscious, is non-dominant handwriting, which I did. And I just want to show you what it might look like. And it's very hard work. This is the final part of our stuff today. You can see it's very hard work. It's hard to write like that. And I wrote 4 or 5 pages like that. So I'll see if I could read it. And it's more like a stream of consciousness, but really as it's coming out, it's too hard to write all the words, and it comes out just this way. They say, so I was writing on the topic of decentralized self. So here we're talking about transformation. So sometimes it's the decentralization is the flux itself that causes the transformation, the catalyst for the transformation. So trying something new, private or public, moon or sun, righteousness or righteousness as a noun versus being righteous as a verb. So righteous or righteousness, fantasy, imagination. The higher self is the lower self. Can barely stand being around my father, daddy. I wrote, ever-evolving projects, and of there something being wrong with someone else. Ever-evolving projection of there being something wrong, of there something being wrong with someone else. Kill or be killed is the past life residue, trauma. Things can stick on the sins. That's what my inner child told me, and I read it days later in a holy book of the Zohar, but that's for another time. I wrote, please Hashem, remove my arrogance. I wrote, good job. Adapting neurodevelopment as a lifetime student. Sacrifice I can't read it, some kind of maybe men or masculinity. Soy. Anyway, I can't read that. Sacrifice. Maybe something to do with not eating meat and eating soy instead. I don't know. I need to be kinder to everyone. Hashem, please help me. Please have mercy on me. I had to hide to stay alive. My will was twisted against me, so it became from second nature to auto default. Today I believed in the collective future again, but then used a vibrator to hurt myself with aggression sensitivities. I wrote, my father made me, I wrote raped, but not actually raped, but invaded me in of inspection. In the name of inspection, I felt violated. Waking up in the dream, previous versions of me and potential versions of me Never knew what I'm dealing with. Aim high, why not? Fear of accidentally misleading someone by needing to be desirable and pleasing. I'm a good teacher, a very diluted competing. I can cook and clean and learn torah and he can pay the bills and be the leading doctor or whatever. Hashem, please be gentle with us, all of us. Thanks for teaching me how to be more genuine, the power of judgment. Not being a con artist once in a while feels lonely. Immunopsychology includes soul psychology, clearing the eye, the inner eye, healing sounds of deep breathing power. Healing sounds and deep breathing power. Slower, deep, slower breathing. Knowledge and wisdom, safe, curious, playful. Life is always preparing us, e.g., for example, via other people's influences. Death is like waking up from a coma, but the veil is more see-through. I've been starving my animal soul meat maybe to lower its power. The stuck shocks of force during the unconscious seems unfair. And that's all of that. I want to go back for a second and see if I could find it. Sacrifice me. Some kind of sacrifice and some kind of soy. And I don't know what it says. That's all for today. All the best. Bye.